Hello world, welcome back to Razor RC. I got a new little buggy here for review, and this is the WLtoys 144001. Got sent to me by Banggood. Thanks to Banggood for sending this out, and just looked like a really nice little race kit. 1/14 scale 4-wheel drive electric buggy. Sells for about $90 on Banggood. Click on the link below if you want to check it out. But yeah, it looks really exciting. So we're gonna do a little unboxing here. First of all, let's open up the box. Okay, so here's what comes in the box. You got a nice little radio. Looks like a 2.4 gigahertz radio. Takes 4 AA's. Kind of like a miniaturized Samuel looking MT4S type of radio. Exact same design, just shrunk down about 20% or so. Foam wheel, although the foam looks a little squished or something on top there. I'm not sure what's up with that, if that's intentional or not. We'll have to see. A couple dials up here for throttle trim, steering trim, on-off switch, LED light, and then a little mode button. I'm not really sure what that does. We'll have to see once we power this thing up. 2S LiPo, 1500 milliamp hour. Comes with a Dean's plug, or yeah, that's a Dean's plug. Looks like almost like a miniaturized one though. We'll see. And balance port, of course. Little simple USB charger runs off the balance port. If there's any specs on this, what does it say? 2000 so a 2 amp charger. Actually, that's not bad. So it should be able to charge within 45 minutes or so. 2 amp charger. Little plastic wheel wrench, which I think was not going to work all that well, but it includes something at least. And then the buggy itself looks super nice. I mean, let's take off the body here. Wheels with a tiny bit of foam inside, fairly soft open cell foam, kind of this dense pin style pattern. Looks like it'd be good for the street, although it might wear down a bit. Some light dirt, probably not that good on like thick grass. All aluminum shocks, aluminum shock caps, metal springs, of course, oil filled, damped. Metal adjustable turnbuckle, sort of a Mugen style adjustment there. Even a little metal Ackerman bar. Chassis looks really nice. Like a cast, well, a little bit of, that's interesting. Kind of kicks up in the rear. Huh. Kind of slopes back in the rear, I guess, for a little bit more ground clearance in the back. Then you got kick up in the front, of course. Plastic arms, of course. Looks like dog bones, all metal dog bones. Front and rear. 550 size can brushed motor. Looks like a combo ESC and receiver. Different, I think a 4-wire plug, so if you change it out, you would have to get a different type of servo. Yeah, and then so from what you got differentials front and rear. And I believe it's direct drive, so there's no slipper or center diff or anything like that. Aluminum hinge pin braces front and rear. Yeah, it looks just like a high quality vehicle overall. Just super nice, and for $90 it's just a pretty ridiculously low price. So yeah, that's what you get in the box. Let's go run this thing. Okay, time now for the review portion of this video. So I've been running this for the last week or two, and time to give you my thoughts. So I'm going to review this in the normal categories, giving it a rating from 1 to 5 stars, 5 stars being excellent, 3 stars being around average, and 1 star would be quite poor as relative to other vehicles in this class. 1/14 scale electric 4-wheel drive buggy. First off, the electronics comes with this, I don't know what this is called, the Power S or something like that, but basically a 2.4 gigahertz radio. Takes 4 AA's, Just has a couple of different adjustments, steering trim and throttle dual rate to turn down the power. That's pretty much it. Very basic radio. It does actually have a nice foam wheel, 2.4 gigahertz. So overall, a decent radio. I wish it had steering dual rate. That'd be the only other option that I think is important. But overall, you know, pretty good radio. Opening up the body, let's look at the electronics. Little 550 size can motor, brushed, a little combo ESC and receiver. It says it's 3S capable, although I would not really recommend doing that. I think it barely can hold up on 2S. A little Dean's plug, and a really basic servo. The servo actually is good enough. No problems there with it giving or being too weak. So overall, I think the electronics are quite nice. The radio definitely above average. The motor is totally fine. Plenty of power, servo, everything. So I'm going to give this above average score in the electronics category, 4 stars. I wish the ESC was a little bit better. I did have some issues with it getting pretty hot even on 2S. I do wish this radio had dual rate, but other than that, I mean, a very good electronics package overall. All right, so this vehicle out of the box was reasonably well assembled. Only issues I had was the front shocks were like overfilled. They basically had too much oil in them, so I recommend popping off the caps, just compressing them all the way and then putting the caps back on. They're basically like hydro locking and not getting full basically movement or compression all the way. They would just kind of hydro lock and not give you that last you know, half inch or so of suspension travel. Other things, one of the shock mounts was a little bit loose, you know, no big deal, just had to tighten it down. Overall, I think the build was okay. I'd give it 3 stars, about average. So the 14401 is essentially a copy of an LC Racing buggy. If you look at this, it looks exactly like an LC Racing EMB 1H, which is also sold as the tack-on Soar here in the United States, and it looks extremely similar. The molds of the plastic pieces, everything look very similar. The aluminum pieces look really similar. The LC Racing is a really good buggy. You know, all aluminum chassis, aluminum shock towers front and rear, aluminum shocks. You even got this aluminum Ackerman bar. Just a really nice design overall. Front and rear diffs, adjustable turnbuckles. Just a really nice kit overall, and this is essentially a copy of that. So I don't think it's officially licensed. Maybe it is, I don't know, but it seems like it's very similar with just kind of minor differences if you look up close. So the design of the LC Racing is really good, and as a result, the design of this is really good. This is pretty much a fully spec'd race buggy. I mean, you could definitely compete with this thing if you've got little mini racing at your local track. So very nice design overall. I do like it a lot. Even has nice battery tray adjustments. You can kind of expand or move these things around. Battery straps, so you can use different size batteries. The only things I didn't like are that the motor is basically a fixed position, so you're kind of stuck with that pinion basically. The other thing is it does not have any kind of slipper or center diff in the middle, so it's basically got like a locked front and rear drive system. So a slipper or a center diff, there's no center diff option for this, would definitely make it better. Also some sealed differentials would also make it better. As you can see, it's just like fully open diffs in the front and rear. They're not sealed, so you can't really tune them. LC Racing does sell parts that I think would fit. I looked into like a slipper clutch conversion for this. You would need quite a few different things. You need the slipper, you need a different drive shaft here in the center. This aluminum one would not work. I think you need a different input connector there in the front. So altogether, I think that costs between $30–35 or so, but you could probably convert it. I have not done that. So overall design I think is really nice. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Not perfect. I wish they did have a center slipper included. Some seals on the disc would be really nice, but really nice race grade type design overall. This buggy drives pretty well. The speed is definitely good. I ran this on 2S, goes about 30 miles per hour. I did not run this on 3S because even on 2S, it was getting up to over 160 degrees. I think it was like 180 degrees or so, running on my little local, you know, backyard track that I made. Handling is decent. The tires are decent. I think they're pretty much good for any sort of surface. They're not especially good, but they're adequate. On high traction surfaces, totally fine, of course, because high traction has a lot of traction. So I'm going to give this above average rating in the performance. I'm going to give it 4 stars because it's really reasonably fast. Suspension actually pretty nice, nice and plush suspension. The shocks, damping, everything is quite nice out of the box as long as you sort of bleed that front shock. So overall, the performance on this thing is very good. 4 stars. So I haven't really broken anything on this buggy. The only issues I've had are that the front shock tower did bend a few times. As you can see, I just kind of hammered it back straight. You can kind of see that bend down there in the bottom part of the front shock tower. Other than that, seems pretty good. There is a ton of like sort of vibration or non-smooth movement in the rear drivetrain. So I'm not really sure why that is. It may be because of these dog bones in the back. They're not CVAs or universals or anything, so they don't spin with a constant velocity. They kind of speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. That's why CVAs are called CVAs, because they actually spin at a constant velocity, but dog bones do not. So a little bit rough in the drivetrain. But overall, I think the durability is fair. The aluminum that they use is kind of this stamped or cast piece. Not super high quality metals, so they do bend a little bit easily. I know some people have problems with these turnbuckles and drive shafts bending or breaking. I didn't experience any problems, but I think the durability on this thing is fair. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I didn't really smash anything that hard, and I was bending shock towers, so I think kind of average durability overall. So in the support and maintenance category, WLtoys 144001 does not really have replacement parts as I could find online from WLtoys, but everything should be compatible with the LC Racing parts, so I think you could just buy those parts and upgrade or replace as necessary. LC Racing is not going to be a brand you can find at your local hobby store. You will have to buy everything online. There are parts available, so I'm going to give it a below average score of 2 stars. A little bit harder to get parts. You will definitely have to be waiting around for parts to come in from your, wherever you live. Probably shipped overseas from China. In the US, you can buy LC Racing parts. There are distributors, so you can get stuff from within the US, but overall, a little bit more difficult to get parts. I'm gonna give it 2 stars in the support and maintenance category. On the maintenance front, this buggy seems okay to work on overall. Did not do a whole lot with it. Didn't have to get in the diffs or anything, but it does come with Phillips screws, which I find a little bit annoying. So overall, support and maintenance, 2 stars. All right, last category is value, and this buggy retails for $90 from banggood.com. It is quite frequently on sale with coupon codes and stuff, so you can get sometimes in the 70s, low 70s. So definitely extremely high value. $90 or 70 something dollars for this type of buggy is very, very good. I think that's an incredible steal. Definitely something worth buying if you're considering buying it. Now, it is kind of a base model version, brushed motor, Phillips head screws, no center slipper. It's got dog bones instead of CVAs or universals. Some of the other versions of this vehicle made by other manufacturers a little bit higher spec. For $90, you really can't complain about anything. It includes a little battery and a little mini charger. So overall, the value category is definitely the strong point of this thing. For $90 is definitely extremely good value and recommended from that point of view. So my final thoughts on WLtoys 14401. I had a lot of fun with this buggy. Actually, I've just been driving it in my backyard. I sort of built a little mini track, been driving it around. I'm considering getting a second one of these so I can sort of race anytime I want, just in my own local backyard. So I think that's pretty cool. I think the value is extremely high. I think the performance is pretty good. You could definitely race this thing if you wanted to. There are nice upgrades available from other manufacturers. So overall, I think it's a pretty cool buggy. Would definitely buy one of these on my own, and am thinking about buying another one. So anyways, that's pretty much it for my review. Nice little buggy. It actually got me pretty excited about 1/14 scale. Never really thought about mini or micro RC cars in general, but now that I can see I can actually drive this in my own backyard, race anytime I want, I think that's pretty cool. Actually thinking about converting my backyard into just a dirt track or something. So I did like it overall and pretty happy with it. So anyways, that's my review of the WLtoys 144001. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Look for more videos soon, and thanks for watching.